Good morning, this is Jack from Chartered Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 8th of July. Well, disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm going to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at Charting the Markets or Substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Right, obviously, the big news is, I wrote a post about it yesterday, basically expecting new hostilities from the US to Iran. And we've seen that, and Iran have retaliated. Trump has said the ceasefire is over, and they're not going to be coming back to it. And the question is, what happens next? And it is a good question. Now, the Iranians leaked, I think, seemed to come from the Iranians. The Iranians leaked that they thought that another fake deal would be announced by Axios this morning, renewing the ceasefire, but that they wouldn't actually have had anything to do with it. Now, this has actually happened pretty regularly before, so it needs to be considered as a possibility. My working assumption is going to be that probably doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be astonished if it did. It makes a big difference to what we're likely to do today. Now, in terms of, I've been looking for a while, obviously, for the retest of the highs here on ES and NQ. ES hasn't managed that yet, and we've actually broken down overnight from a little level top here, basically with the target at a retest of the recent low at 73.88. I think, in the absence of fake peace talks being announced, I'm thinking that will probably make target. And one reason I'm thinking that will make target is because of NQ. We had a double bottom that broke up here, 29th of June, made target on the 6th of July, and we had a double bottom that broke up on the next day on NQ, and that failed yesterday with a full retracement back to the low. Now, that's actually a lot of the core, a lot of the reason we haven't seen a retest of the all-time highs in recent days, and that's because tech has been the weakest of the indices, and that remains the case. And while that remains the case, there's still a possibility that we're going to break down. Now, I was talking about two potential flags forming here, and we were holding basically to the higher one, but I'm wondering if we're going to break down into the lower one, and that would have support here currently in about the 27,850 area. And we may be on the way to doing that. I would note against that we've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing. It's the only buy signal brewing on the equity indices at the moment, although with the retest of the overnight lows, we could set up more of those. RTY, we've got a double top, which is also broken down with a target in the 2910 to 2014 range. And it's not a bad one. YM, no current topping pattern at the moment, but we could be putting in the right shoulder on our head and shoulders at the moment. It's all about the daily middle bands and whether we are going to hold recent support levels. Well, I am wondering if we are breaking down into the larger overall flags, and whether, of course, if we continue seeing a war, if something really crazy happens like the US invading Iran with ground troops, whether we might see a much larger decline. I would note that on the bigger picture, obviously we've got a pretty good, decent looking double top here on DAX. Reasonable looking smaller one maybe forming, but looks more like a head and shoulders forming, and this would be a good time to bounce to form the right shoulder, but I'm wondering about that on the STX. Nikkei, we had a beautiful bull flag here, and it looks kind of like that's breaking down. We had a buy signal fix overnight, and it looks as though, well, that's pretty close to failing. We will see, but I am wondering about that. In the short term, we've actually recovered quite a lot of the overnight losses. We were down almost 80, and we're down minus 40 at the moment. My lean is bearish unless we get good news announced and the ceasefire is back on. I'm a little doubtful about that, but certainly it wouldn't be the first time, and I wouldn't be that surprised if it happened. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on the RTH charts. Here on ES, I'm watching the daily middle band, which I've got at 74.99, which was 50 down from the close yesterday. If we see a breakdown below that and a close below it today, then potentially we do have a break lower going on. SPX, I've got that at 74.36, and we will see how that goes. And that's backed up by the 50 DMA, which is not far below at about 74.10. If those break, then again, I'm thinking at that stage this would look like A, B, see. And I'd be looking for a target probably in about the 71.50 area. That's still very much on the table, and if the ceasefire is off, then there's probably no reason not to go there, really. In terms of the hourly chart, not a lot to see. In terms of the 15-minute chart, not a lot to see. In terms of the Qs have been much weaker, as I said. We've been testing the 50 DMA here, and it's just about hanging on. And we're back, and we traded the whole of yesterday back below the daily middle band. This is the weakest of the indices by a mile. It's the only one of the indices which closed yesterday below the daily middle band. This could easily be A, B, C again. Wondering about a move down maybe into the 670 area. No divergence really on the hourly chart. Nothing really on the Qs chart, on the 15-minute chart either. Bit of positive divergence here if we see a retest of this low, which we haven't yet. Looking at Dire, Dire is a long way above the daily middle band, but there is something I've been watching here in recent days, and that is this trend line here. Now, we saw a break above it yesterday. That could be a bearish overthrow, and if it is, then the next obvious target would be to come back into this rising support, which I've got in the 514 to 515 area. We will see how that goes, but that's a pretty nice looking setup. That's a pretty nice looking little bearish overthrow, and I would be wondering about that. And if we got through that, then I'd be wondering about forming a possible head and shoulders here in the neckline in the 513 area, or I've got another one in about the 499 area. So I'd be watching those two. We shall see. If we go back fully to war, I think those will both be on the table. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart. Looking at IWM, again, we're above the daily middle band, but we'll likely be testing that at the open today. If we can see a break back below it, then, well, I would remind you that we've still got daily RSI 14 sell signals fixed across the board on all of these indices, and those could be about to play out. In terms of the support levels I'm looking at, I've got a short-term support level here in about the 291, 292 area, and if we see a hard break below that, I've got a possible neckline in about the 277 area, and I've got a big support trend line down here in about the 257 area. Those could be on the table. Not a lot to see on the 15-minute chart. No divergence there at the moment. This buy signal made the possible near miss target and is written off at the moment. In terms of DAX, we're seeing a big decline here, and we will see whether we get that back below the daily middle band. And obviously, we've got daily middle band at 24,976, but not far below that is the we've got 24,750, which is slightly below for the 50 DMA, but not that far below, is the 200 DMA at 24,298. Break and convert that, and this starts to look serious, and I would start to take this overall potential level top seriously. We shall see. If we are going into an oil crisis, which I've been mentioning was definitely not off the table repeatedly, but and still very much is not off the table, then all sorts of things start becoming possible. In the short term on Nikkei, we've broken back below the daily middle band. The flag looks like it's breaking down, and I'm watching this rising support trend line on this very nice looking rising megaphone, which I've got in about the 66,700 area. We shall see how that goes today. All right, let's have a look at the dollar. What we've been seeing when we've been seeing war back on is dollar up, oil up, bonds down, and precious metals down. And so far, that's what we're seeing here too. Most muted probably on the dollar, but this looks like a bull flag forming. I'm still looking for a retest of this high, and we could be, given that this was a test of the daily middle band, we could be starting a new leg up like we did when the last time it was tested the daily middle band, which was here. So wondering if we're going to see a move up. ZB has been weak here, but if we didn't already have a 60-minute buy signal fixed, another one would be brewing here. ZN, if we didn't already have a buy signal fixed, another one would be brewing here. So I am wondering about a bit of a rally, but bigger picture, these both look like bear flag wedges, which have broken down with the target at a retest of the low. These could expand into larger flags, of course, or they could be heading down directly. Looking at oil, we have pulled back a bit from the overnight highs, and those overnight highs, I was mentioning on my post yesterday that obviously a big resistance level would be the daily middle bands. Both of them tested their daily middle bands. We've got possible 60-minute sell signals brewing here, and I'm wondering whether those might be about to fix, possibly delivering retests the lows here, although that would be in the event that we did have a fake peace deal announced. So we shall see how that goes. But I'm wondering, that was one of the bottoming options I was looking at, and that is still very much on the table. Looking at the HO, we've almost made it to the IHS target in the 3.47 area. RBOB, there's no really decent bottoming option here, so it's gone a bit higher here, but to be honest, not as much as Brent and CL, because both of those were the ones which went down the most. NG, not really anything to do with the straightforward moves here, but this has gone a little higher, but basically we are waiting for direction and just basically trading in a range. All right, let's have a quick look at the bigger picture oil charts. These are the odds of the straightforward moves returning to normal by July the 31. That's actually bottomed down. This was at 63% just after the MOU was signed. It's now down at 5. In terms of the daily chart, if we close in this kind of area or above today, both of the daily RSI 5 buy signals on Brent and WTIC will make their targets, and obviously we've got the weak RSI 14 buy signals which are fixed. This is testing the daily middle band on Brent, and on Brent we've also got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing here, and that is pretty close to fixing. A weak one is already fixed, but this would be a full size one. Looking at WTIC, on the daily chart, we have tested the daily middle band. The RSI 5 buy signal is pulling back slightly from the 70 level. As I said, this would need a close at the right level. Anything intraday doesn't really count. It's all about the closes for the daily candle. So we're coming back slightly earlier. This was touching the 70 level, and I'd quite like to see that make target today. We shall see how that goes. I am thinking that we might be forming bull flags on Brent and WTIC here, but we are obviously pretty close to the WTIC 60-minute sell signal brewing, fixing as well. All right, looking at the short term on Brent, this looks like a bull flag. Doesn't it? I mean, it has to be. Obviously, these can break down sometimes, but this and on WTIC, these look like bull flags forming, setting up retests of these highs, which of course could give us some nice topping patterns. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at precious metals. Now, precious metals, we've normally been seeing precious metals go down when war goes up. And that's what we're seeing here. I am wondering about a retest of the low here. And on silver, this has been looking like a bear flag throughout, and it now looks like a bear flag that's breaking down. Wondering about a retest of the low there too. I've got more to say about this on the bigger picture video, which I posted as well. So have a look at that for potential targets on silver as well, as I was looking at the bigger picture charts on those. All right, well, palladium, we got a weak 60-minute sell signal fix. Not really seeing a compelling case for a retest of the low, but I'm thinking we see a bit of a retracement here. On platinum, we've got a little double bottom which is trying to break up, but this could be a bear flag as well. So watching that with interest, no current negative divergence. HG, if we're going to see a big decline on equities today, which is still in the balance, waiting for Axios to deliver, words of hope. But if we see equities go down so hard today, I'm thinking this double top may make the target in the 5.66 area. All right, looking at the bigger picture looking at KC, we've seen a very strong move up and a sharp retracement. I'm most definitely thinking this might go higher, but I'm thinking it may well go lower first. We shall see. SB topping path setup does not look as nice as it did yesterday. We're still wondering to see if we get some retracement here. CC, we've got a very nice looking potential little level top here, and a 60-minute sell signal brewing may just move up through it, of course. Lumber, nice looking bear flag forming. Cotton, very nice looking bear flag megaphone potentially forming here. And I'm thinking this is a definite contender. I'm wondering about a retest of this low here in early June. Wheat, testing possible level bottom resistance. Soy, corn, no clear pattern here, but obviously a pretty strong rally. Soy, strong rally again. No obvious upside pattern, but obviously the bear flag is failed. In terms of ZL, we have possible little level bottom here, which is thinking about breaking up. So which the week 60-minute bicycle has reached the possible near miss target. On live cattle, we have a continuation down. This no longer looks like a bull flag, and HE still very, very much looks like a bear flag, setting up a retest of this early June low. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. All right. Yeah, my pleasure as always, guys. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.